This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the Carta Magica Digimon Ultimate Cup that happened this past weekend. It was 500 players with 9 whole rounds with 1 undefeated green hybrid at the end, piloted by LaParre. So congrats to him, especially with such an atypical list. And if you guys want to see any of the matches from the stream that I was doing the commentary for, make sure to click on the tournament VOD link either in this document or in the description of this video, as well as it should be uploaded to my channel for the main matches, at least in the next couple of days. As well as if you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed, please consider doing this and hitting that button. I know personally about 1 in 4 people that watch these Top Cup breakdowns are normally subscribed, so it would mean a lot to me if you do hit that. It just shows that you guys appreciate the work and everything with it, and it means a lot to me. So anyways, going into this top 16 breakdown, we do have 4 Imperialdramons, 4 Mastemons, 3 blue hybrids, 2 DNA armor, 1 yellow hybrid, 1 yellow-red hybrid, and a green hybrid as well. So definitely a lot of blue, half of it, and then also the DNA armor. A lot of decks are running Imperialdramon right now. And yeah, I think that blue, it's super weird. Imperialdramon gets so many finishes. It almost got first place on this tournament too, but it just got so close at second. And I think it's going to be also a lot of blue hybrid players too, which to me means that, you know, I think a lot of people tried Imperialdramon out because it's the new kind of blue aggro list. They're like, that's cool. I like blue hybrid more. We're going back. And the other thing is that there's pretty much no EX2 archetypes in this entire tournament. The yellow hybrid did not run the new Lopmon stuff. The green Imperialdramon is probably the closest thing with it, as we'll see in a minute. And it's really curious. I know definitely people were playing Mother. I know people were playing Gallantmon. I don't know if they were playing anything else, but I don't know. I still love this format. Even if there's no EX2 inherent things, I do like a lot of what this format does. So we're going to look at the top list for every archetype based on their placement, and we're going to start off with the first place green hybrid by LaParre. For Russell's list, this is going to be more of like an elevator pitch for the list. If you want something more in depth, make sure to check out the interview I did with him right after the tournament. It's linked in the description as well. And if you have any interest of actually playing this list or seeing what makes it tick, especially just his experiences with building it and everything else, I highly recommend watching that interview. It's fantastic. Otherwise, if you just want the cliff notes, here it is from me. So the main big thing for this is that we do have another Terriermon that is green that also works good with these tamers, so it just has this card effect. Once per turn, when you play a green tamer, you get to gain 1, so that does make these a little bit cheaper, especially like a JP or like the Izzy and Mimi. JP you can play for 2, and then from the next turn you reduce it by 1, so you can digivolve into one of your hybrids for 1 off of JP, and that feels really good. So JP is incredibly important for the list, and you just do a lot of crazy things. Rapidmon's also fantastically good because you get to digivolve this on 3 on top of your Terriermons. Both these Terriermons are great in archetype and everything else, having a memory blocker as well. And there's also, when one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, this Digimon gets plus 2k DP, so this becomes an 8k and then you minus 5k something, so this can trade with a 13k DP or less Digimon, or 13k DP, and then anything less, you know, it just swings over. So this does a lot of damage, and then like board clearing and stuff, especially with this Terriermon. So both are really good. And also the Calumon, I personally thought this card was super dead in a lot of ways, and like, why would you want to just spend 1 on like cycle that you would have anyways? But I was super wrong. Being able to play this for 1 and then give the boost is important enough, the card draw, the memory as well, and then something that's I also noticed is it's something that your opponent really wants to swing into, and they try to get rid of it. That means you have interaction to do that, and it only costs you 1 to do so. So I think it's very good, and obviously some top ends with the Ancient Beetlemons, Argomons, and the Shivamon as well, so very spicy. And he swore by the blockers they were a must add, and he's really happy with this list. I think he said that it did pretty much everything he wanted to. I mean, you went undefeated for 9 rounds, so really interesting. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more people try to pilot and experiment with this moving forward, and congrats again to Russell for the amazing finish with such a deck. So going to our next, we do have second place. This is Imperialdramon. So this is Jesse Spencer's list as well. We have a couple of insights on some EXF. So we have some Labramons. These are good. So when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has jam, you get to gain 1 memory. So it just helps you out a lot. you can do something like an XVmon, you swing with it, you get jamming, you gain a memory, and then from there you're able to or Jogress into Imperialdramon, and then still have jamming again, so you swing with it, and then you get another memory back, since it's a refresh of all the inheritables too. So really strong with that. I think the LaParremon's a good addition for it. And we also have the one of like offensive plugin A, the one of Leomon. So just, I don't know, some healthy one-ofs in my opinion, and I think that kind of helps these decks do well. The one thing is that just only one Lydramon, but it does kind of make sense since you're not running you're running a lot of non-Vmons. So it's a little bit harder for you to digivolve on. You can't digivolve on top Labra or Betamon, so I think that makes sense. But yeah, Imperialmon's been doing really, really good. I think it's probably one of the most consistent aggro decks that we've had in this game for a long time. I think people are going to be playing it for a while still. And I think the core is there. Everyone's going to have their own ratios of Vmons that they swear by. And then everyone's going to have like their opinions on like the option cards. Like the main part of it is, I think, is pretty solid, at least for like the pure Imperialdramon stuff. But it is really interesting to see a lot of these different ratios that a lot of people have. I think 2 Dragon mode and 2 Fighter mode is pretty standard. Omni Blitz, if you want it, like 1 Hybrid, a couple of Vmons, and 5 Tamers, I think is the standard there too. And then no Ice Wall. Interesting, deciding to go for the Hammer Spikes instead there. So anyways, that's Jesse's list. If you want to see the finals, that should be on that Twitch VOD too on Jesse versus Russell. I think a really, really good match. I highly recommend watching that one. So anyways, next up we do have Jackson Hoang's Blue Hybrid. I don't have a lot to say about this. Some small text that I've noticed based on and it's not really even like new text, it just kind of exists, is the Akakumon and the Rattlestar. Both of these can get rid of cards in like D Reaper, including the Rattlestar. It can get rid of the Gatekeeper if needed, and that's pretty much all it is that I've seen tech-wise. Mother D Reaper did not get top 16 in this event, which is surprising for me because I definitely know people are playing it and trying to do that. And I know that was like the big boogeyman for a lot of people of what can I beat this matchup? Is this a matchup I'm going to lose to? And it looks like it's enough people figured it out, and it's weird. I know that in other metas, like the Japanese meta, it was a pretty big force, and I think it may be just because people didn't know how to play against it, and since we've had so much ahead knowledge, we know how to play against it. So anyways, we're talking about this list. I don't have a lot to say though, but Blue Hybrid is good. Jackson's good. Congrats to Jackson there. And we're going to move on to the Mastemon, and something I think we're really at a spot where we know how these Mastemon list a lot of the similar things. Gauzy and Psychemons, at least 2 of each. 4 Gatos, at least 1 Black Gato as well. 2 Chaos mode is essentially where most people are sitting at. And then 4 Lady Devies, normally either 4 of this or 3 of this and 1 of the Star decks. 3 Magna and 2 Entrowomon are pretty standard, and then 4 Masties and whatever top end you want. The top end is usually the more like a creative part for a lot of people, especially like if you want to run the Creepymon, or if like defeats in the list are not. Most of them have defeat, but some don't. And then 4 Hell Scythes for sure, and then Memory Boost and Tamers are a little bit more. But like the baseline of like your level 5s and level 4s and most of your level 3s are pretty standard. So I think we're trying to go into exactly what needs to be consistent. But I will say we have more Mastemons get top 16 than I'd say the regionals in the past couple weeks. And I think that is more of just the mulligans. I think Mastemon is something that can get really greedy in a mulligan. Obviously, look, you're only running 9 rookies, and then like being able to like see the Gato, like having 2 chances to get Gato turn 1 instead of just the 1, I think is huge for the deck. So I think a lot more players are playing Mastemon, at least with more success with that mulligan. So I think that does make a difference, especially with just how many Mastemons we got here. But this is Gregory's list. Congrats there. And going to our next one, we do have this yellow hybrid. We didn't see a lot of, we technically got 2 yellow hybrids, and we're going to cover both of them because they are different enough in my eyes. But I'd say this is a standard list. The biggest probably tech, at least what I've been seeing a lot more people kind of go into, is the Holy Flame. This is such a good card for a lot of matchups, especially like this can prevent you from like losing to D Reaper, because if they swing at their Reapers and they hit the Holy Flame, then they don't have security attack for the rest of the turn, and then they just like you can just get rid of it. So I think that's important enough to run in the list, and then also just a lot of options here. I've seen some more creative versions of Yellow Hybrid in the past couple of weeks. We've seen like the Renamon version where you just have like a lot of option cards. You get the memory gain from there, and also the draw from the egg. We've also seen like the Lotmon version version 2, and no doubt people played at this event, but I didn't see it at the top table, so it's going to be interesting to see if people experiment with it more, see if it does anything that doesn't, the other ones don't, and I'm going to be curious to see if we just see the standard yellow hybrid or not. But it's been less and less popular. I've been seeing this past couple of weeks, and people have been either not topping with it or they know how to play against the deck, but it doesn't seem to be as formidable as it has like at the beginning of the BT8 meta, which I think is nice. I think it's been doing about as good as I want it to do, if that makes sense. So we also do have this yellow-red hybrid list. So this is Ryan's, and so the Guilmon as the rookie, as well as the Digimon. So means pretty much every time you swing with this, you get to draw 2, which is really nice. And then also you have these red options to, at least a red source for these options. So Crimson Blaze, fantastic card, also prevents your opponent from like using Imperialdramon or a bunch of other effects that would, they would have to be able to play for free. So Imperialdramon does that, Mastemon plays that, does that. And so not being able to play from effects is nice. Gaia Force is always a good card, especially in this format where Reaper's trying to swing in for game, and Holy Flame in the same idea. And Avenged Kidmon is such a fun choice, especially since it can prevent like a mill or something, like a self mill or something, and it's just a nice like little tech. And you can still like Suzanomon on top of it too, which is kind of funny, but obviously more of nothing too different, but I do like the red splash. I know people have been trying to do that for a minute. I know I've also seen like some Lopmon builds of yellow hybrid that still has like the same red bottom for it, and I like the idea of it. So we're gonna see if this catches on. Obviously nothing super new, but like the Digi-Egg's the newest thing, but it's a good Digi-Egg with a good rookie, so I understand why people are running it, and we'll see if people continue doing that. And then lastly, we do have Logan Rickman's DNA armor. We had 2 DNA armors, and I will say, I think these are different enough from Imperialdramon's. If you think this is the same as Imperialdramon, well, thanks for enjoying the video. We'll see you next time. But I like the idea of this. This is similar to kind of an idea that I've been, pursuing, with the idea that, yeah, VMons are great, don't get me wrong, and like having all these multicolor, like cheap champions you can digivolve into means you have a bunch of good like these DNA options for you. So Chimeramon's good, Shakuamon, this is the wrong Shakuamon, I'll have it updated on the actual list, but Shakuamon's good, as well as Paildramon, and as well as the fighter mode and dragon mode. So like you can just DNA into these quickly, and just the fact like you get into like a Flamedramon and then they can't get rid of it super easily, I think that's kind of nice. Fire Rocket is a good card, and especially if you're afraid of Gatekeeper, this can kind of help you win the game, which is nice. Shivamon, if setup, is a really silly choice. And the armor texture, which I haven't seen as many people play lately, but it must have done well today, so that's interesting, as a choice there. But I don't know, I really like these lists. They can be sometimes clunky or a little particular with how you can digivolve and stuff. You get a little bit more creative with your rookies, but I really like the idea of these lists. I think they're super fun, and you can make some really creative stacks, especially with like Shakuamon or like a Chimera one with a Shakuamon underneath it that gives like -2k, and then you can digivolve into the fighter mode, and then all of these are free trades. So if you have like a XVmon that gives jamming, I like that too. I don't know, there's a lot of like creativity in like the armor versions, and it's a really open kind of book, even though like a lot of it kind of has like the same materials. I do like the idea of it. So again, this is Logan's list, and that's congratulations to there. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you guys made it to this part and you're not liking this video or subscribed, I don't know why you made it this far, so you must like something about it. I'd really appreciate it. And that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Carta for giving these lists as well as letting me do the commentary. I do appreciate that too. And that's all I got for you guys. So thank you again so much, and I'll catch you all next time.